G'day guys, welcome to Shit Easy Motorcycle Camp Cooking. So today what we've got going on is scrambled eggs, bacon, toast, the whole kit and caboodle, all done very, very simply. So I tell you what, it's a ripper of a day. I've got Charley the Postie bike, Honda CT 110, absolute little ripper. And I'm just out in the bush, and I tell you what, we're heading to the shack. All right guys, let's get going. Hey guys, where the hell are you bloody been? Alright, so I've got myself set up. I've already got the fire going. So we're going to have a hot coal base. You don't need to have a fire to do what I'm doing. You can use a stove to do this, no worries at all. What I've actually done is I've made up a little table here at the shack, which I'll bring you over and show you all the bits and pieces that I've got. Alright, so here we go. So we've got our little fire. It's got a nice coal base on that now. We'll be able to cook on that, no worries at all. Here's that little table. I've just made up a table out of the rocks. It's actually worked out really good. Just gives me a level area a little bit up off the ground for me to work on. So what I've brought is my pot and pan set. The pot will only be for boiling water for my coffee. I'm going to try and use just this small pot for doing the bacon and eggs in that. I could have used, I've got my other one in there, my bigger fry pan where I could do it all at once. But I like to use this to know that I can use smaller stuff and not have to lug a heap of stuff, especially when you're doing tricky stuff, tricky riding, whether it's sand or just gnarly bloody tracks and stuff like that. So I've also got the plate, all these utensils as you can see. I've added this steak knife instead of opting for that because as you've seen in the last one, I cut my bloody finger on it. It's just an awkward, it's an awkward knife thing to use for cutting. So I thought, nah, bugger, it's just silly, I'll bring that. Got a bowl for mixing up the eggs, scrambling them up. There's another little bowl there, you don't really need that. Now I've got a cup obviously for the cuppa. Now I'm going to run this, but I'm going to run this for warming this, keeping stuff warm, and also for doing my toast, which I'll be using, where is it, that one there, to toast my bread. And because that's butane, you don't get it doesn't end up being smelly toast. Yeah, you get that funny bloody burnty, smoke-ridden bloody stuff. Sometimes it's all right, but most of the time it's a bit ordinary. All right, guys. So the food that I've brought, and you can change this up for real bacon or the spam bacon, which I'm doing. I like to use these things. I mean, I didn't have to today because I'm not far from home. Didn't have to worry about refrigeration or stuff like that, but I want to use this, get used to using it, make sure in different ways that it still does what I want it to do. So, spam. 2 eggs. Now, I've used this, the whole carting, especially on a postie bike where it's jiggling around. The important thing to do with eggs is make sure that they are in that upright position and that when you've got them packed, they stay in that upright position. I've just opted for using the cardboard thing that they come in. But what I thought is, if I put it in Glad wrap like that, if this did actually break, I would still be able to salvage the egg out of that. Clever idea? I don't know. So we've got 2 eggs. Got just some long life milk. I've got a paper bag here. I've got some chives, fresh chives. You can use the dehydrated chives if you want. A piece of bread, a piece of cheese, some cherry tomatoes, and in the foil is some butter for cooking and also for putting on my toast. That's basically it for the food. Cool. So now what we've got to do is the prep work, and we'll get stuck into that right now. Okay, so my bread goes on one of these wire mesh things. Sits on there, and that's going to sit on the stove ready, and I'll show you that. Grab our chives. So all I'm going to do with my chives is just cut them up into little rings. Be careful not to lose them down the cracks of the table. Make them as small or as thick as you want. Making sure you don't cut your fingers. I shouldn't jinx myself like that. Cool. Oh, we get that little sucker there. So then we just throw this into the bowl. Beautiful, that's done. Alright, so next is our cherry tomatoes. Cherry tomatoes are really good for carrying. You can slice them into little, like you would a normal potato, or you can, what I like to do, especially for this particular meal, is just cut them into little quarters like that. And when I go to putting this in the meal, I won't. You can cook this on the fry pan if you want, but I like to keep I like to have the warm food and the cold food together. I just like the way that works. Beautiful. Just a bit of towel to wipe up the tomato juice. Alright, so now we're going to do our eggs and the milk. Remember, all our rubbish goes back with us. Now I'll just show you, obviously you can see that there are some shell bits in there. Not a problem, you won't even know they're there. Alright, so now we just got to add some milk. You don't have to add milk, but it does make the scrambled eggs a lot better, a lot fluffier. Now I don't know how much you put in there, I just, whack in a little bit like that. That should do it. Now also, I didn't mention, I brought some salt. And I've just used a little Ziploc bag. I mean, there's 101 different ways that you can do that. Just put a bit of salt in there. All right, grab our fork and we'll just whisk that up. Alright, so that's done. Easy as that. Alright, so you're still hanging with me? Now, we need some butter to go in the fry pan. Now, you can use oil, obviously, but as I said, I'm not far from home. It's fairly cold here, even though I've been running around doing stuff, so I'm fairly hot, and I've got this fire sitting there. So, a bit of butter just to cook in, and then I've got a little bit left over for the bread. Now, for the Spam bacon. Simply open this up. So there we go. That's the stuff. Now what we want to do is just pop this out. You'll see, I'm not going to pull the whole thing out. So now the idea with this Spam bacon, to make it taste like bacon, is to try and cut this as thin as possible. The thinner, the better. So, if you think of how thin a rasher of bacon is, that's basically what you want to do. Now, you can use the other Spam, which is just the ham. I think the difference between this has bacon in it, more than the other tin Spam. And I know that this stuff cuts way better than the other stuff. So that's all I'm going to need for what I'm doing. Okay, let's recap. So I've got a nice hot base there that I'll be able to cook on that. My fry pan's set to go. I've got the bacon to cook. All the garnish stuff is ready to go. And then I've got my scrambled eggs sitting there ready to be cooked as well. And then on here, on this little gas stove, is where I'm going to cook that or toast that bread. So it'll take a little bit of time to toast this if you do it, you know, holding it and trying to get it as even as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook the bacon first. And while I'm doing that, I'll start to cook the toast. The last thing to cook will be the eggs, and then we'll whack it all together.
Sound like a plan? Brilliant, let's get into it.
Alright guys, I lied, my coal base was not hot enough. So that's alright, we're going to cook like this. That pan cooking up. Whacking our bacon. Alright, so while that bacon's cooking, I'm going to start heating this up. See, I've just got that flame going. I just slowly go over it like this. That'll just start toasting it. Bacon's cooking up real good. Alright, so the toast is just about done, I reckon. So what I'm now going to do is transfer this toast. I'll leave that sit there. Grab my toast off. I'm going to turn this down so it's really low. So it's just warming it. That on there. I have this other one which distributes the heat a whole lot better. Oop. Put my trivet on top of that, and I'll just sit that there. So that's just going to start keeping that warm. My cheese can now, oh actually I was going to put butter on that, wasn't I? Chuck a bit of butter on there. That should melt all in there. Throw our cheese on top of that. Now we want to put our bacon on there.
Bloody hell, guys, I've got stuff going on everywhere. Alright, now we're going to start doing the eggs.
Alright, so we're going to get this pan going. Pour in our mixture. And then it's just a matter of stirring this stuff. Don't over. The best thing I'm no expert at this, but they say just don't stir crazy. It's kind of like folding it on itself. That way it'll keep them more fluffy. So I'll tell you what, it's a whole lot easier when I don't have a camera going. I'm trying to keep my hands out of your way and look at that, looking good already. So just keep moving it around so that all the wet parts get a chance to go onto the bottom of the fry pan. And that's before the other parts of the egg burns. Well, I reckon that is just about done. Cool. Oh, well, one good thing, my table setup's been working an absolute treat. I tell you what, if I had to use my wooden firebox, it would have been a whole lot easier to cook all this stuff. Or have a fire that was a lot. I didn't want a huge fire because obviously I've got to leave here and I've got to put it out. So, but because the coals weren't hot enough, I had to keep putting bloody twigs underneath there to keep that flame going. All right, let's dish this up. All right, so we've still got this over here. I can see that. Look at the cheese in there. It's just getting all nice and scrummy. Feel this. That's still lovely and warm. Just got that on a slow heat. So that's working good. So all I've got to do now is put this on there and then our other bits and pieces. Rightio, time to smooch all this on. Just like that. And then I just dump this straight on top like that. Look at that. Now there's a delicious looking meal. Check that out. Oh, how's that? Table works as a seat as well. That's pretty good. Now, I've sat here, I've already started eating, guys. It's absolutely yummy. I didn't realise I didn't press record. I'm stuffing up all over the joint today. So it's still warm, and actually in spots it's actually hot. I was saying that I really like the tomato, the cold tomato and the cold spring onions with the warm bacon and that. I like that feel, that sensation. I know a lot of people like to fry their tomatoes, which I do too. You just can't get any better than this. Oh. That is really bloody delicious. That Spam, it tastes like bacon. Like that. Tastes like bacon. It's not exactly the same, but it's a nice tasting bacon taste. Well, there you go, guys. I reckon that's. I reckon I would call that shit easy. I had a few malfunctions going on around me, and I still managed to make a bloody delicious meal. So I'll finish this off. I won't make you bloody keep watching me do that, and I don't know. I'll come back to you when I'm having a cuppa. Well, there you go, guys. That's all done and dusted. Oh, you can see there I've got, that's the dishes to be done up. I've got some more water boiling. It's just about boiled. Yep. Let's turn that off. Jesus, nearly lost it. Put that down there. So yeah, I'll use that water to wash up the rest of these dishes, and then pour the shitty water onto that fire. Make sure that's all put out, and there you go. So I'm just gonna relax and have me coffee. Oh, that's good. And I'll just enjoy the rest of me time out here. All right, guys. Remember, keep on riding, and if you ain't riding, just keep on keeping on. Pretty bloody simple.